Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and something a little bit different from Doodle Day Darlings. A couple of weeks ago, a company called VersaChalk reached out to me and asked if I wanted to try out their Blackboard and liquid chalk markers. Naturally I said yes, who's going to turn down any form of stationery, and especially blackboards and chalk pens. It's the stuff of my childhood dreams. Keep watching if you want to know my thoughts on liquid chalk markers, and let's get going. I'm a complete novice when it comes to liquid chalk markers. I'm a paper and journal girl, but I absolutely enjoyed trying with these. I think if you've not done liquid chalk and blackboards, it's got to be on your bucket list. It's something you're going to want to do. So I've started off with a moon. I'm going to do a Peter Pan quote. So there'll be Big Ben and the moon and lots of clouds. So you may have seen me use a sellotape roll to get the circle for the moon. And then because I don't want the moon to be bright white, I've just went in with my finger and just tried to like wishy-washy, that's not the technical term for it, but just try and wash it out a little bit so that, you know, the moon's not one blank colour. So it means when I go in and add the clouds, they can be much more white, and I will go in and do another layer. That's one thing I would say with liquid chalk markers. You put down that first layer and it dries, and it can be quite translucent. So once that's dry, go in with the second layer and it gets much brighter. You do need to let that first layer dry, so you'll see that I'll do some things and then I'll stop and do something else and I'll come back to it. I'm waiting for that first marking to dry. Once it's completely dry, it's much more workable. The scariest thing by far with liquid chalk markers is that there's no penciling in and rubbing out before you go in with a fine liner. You literally put the pen down and you just have to go for it. That was intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. I have done this quote with these types of doodles before in a journal layout, so I'm not a complete novice to drawing these things out. And that was what I was hoping was going to get me through. You'll see on the Big Ben Tower that it's quite messy. I've done lots of smudgy bits when I'm using the ruler. I am zero bothered about that because I'm going to go in and colour the majority of this in. So in terms of making smudgy marks, bothered. So the main bulk of the doodles, I'm using some 5mm markers. These are the neon range, so they're a pack of 8. They're big, they're chunky, they're really fun to write with. They lay down ink exceptionally well. You've just seen me put the second white layer on that cloud and suddenly, boom, it's hella vibrant. They're really good fun to do. They are neon, so I mean, you know, the yellow is yellow. The classic markers are a pack of 10 and they're a much thinner nib, so I can go in and do a bit more detail with them, so I quite like them. The only thing I would say, the wine glass markers, which are the one I'm using at the moment, they are metallic shades, and the metallic shades, oh boy are they juicy. They lay down, you have to watch how much ink they want to lay down. They're big. So just be careful of the wine glass markers. In VersaChalk's defence, I am using wine glass markers on a chalkboard because I'm a stickler for not playing by the rules. So I'm going to go in now on each of those rectangular columns of Big Ben. I'm going to go in with a finer 3mm tip pen. It's slightly lighter blue, which is nice because it gives a bit of a contrast. Does mean a little bit more colouring in, but hey, what else have you come to this channel for? So I'm going to go in and add them all in. You'll see the first 3 rectangles aren't as vibrant. That's because you're meant to, not that I remember to, but you're meant to pump the nib before you begin to draw, because that then brings all of the ink down into the nib. Yeah, that's an instruction that gets lost on me. It's written on the back of the packet. It's pretty obvious. So I've gone in and started to do it and thought, why is this not working very well? And then on that 4th one, I sort of pressed the nib down a little bit and all this ink came in. And I was like, that's what I was meant to do. I'm a novice. What can I say? Next up, I'm going to go in on that clock face and just add in a little bit more colour and a little bit more detail, just to try and make it stand out a little bit more than it does. One thing I am really conscious of at this point as I'm doodling is not to smudge the work that I'm already doing. If I was a patient person, you would colour in one bit, let it dry, go put the kettle on, come back and finish it. Not me. So as I'm doing it, I'm trying really hard not to smudge. And another tip that I had to learn the hard way, because I've not been accepted into the initiation of Liquid Chalk Markers Society, is that when you put the metallic pens onto pre-existing chalk marker, they tend to really bleed and go a bit wibbly. That's the word I'm going to use. But whilst my application to the Chalk Marker Association Society is under review, I'm going to move on and get on with the one thing that you know I've been dreading from the moment I said we were going to do a quote, the actual lettering. So I'm going to use the big fat bad boys on these ones because I feel like they're going to get me through, and I am winging it. You know me, I like to pencil stuff out. This goes against every fibre of my body, and I'm concentrating so hard and my tongue is sticking out of my face so much. Here is the moment that I forget a word in the entire quote. You had one job, my sweetheart, to make one quote, and I missed the word "an." The quote is "to live will be an awfully big adventure." But at the moment it reads, "to live will be awfully big adventure." I'm going to go and correct that because at some point right towards the end I will realise and I will do a really quick fix, and I've posted this up on my Instagram, and if you see it please leave me a comment on how wonderfully worded my quote is, because nobody over on Instagram will realise that I've missed out a word, but you guys now know. Shh. But talking about fluff ups, one thing I've not mentioned is how easy it is to get rid of chalk markers. So with a wet wipe, an antibacterial wipe, a cotton swab with a little bit of water on, you can go over these one swipe and they completely disappear and leave no trace that your heinous mistake was ever there. I'm just going to stop though talking and just say that I'm putting in 2 stars because, as we all know, if you want to go to Neverland, it's the 2nd star on the right and straight on till morning. And that's it for my first attempt at doing chalk quote lettering board stuff. That's the worst description, and it will not make it to the beginning of this YouTube video. It's my first go at it and I'm really impressed. I'm impressed that much that I was going to wipe this off to show you how easy it is. I'm not doing that. It's now up in my living room. I am not getting rid of it for a very long time. Let me know if this is something you like. I know that the guys at VersaChalk have said that they're more than happy to throw me a few goodies to do as a giveaway for you. So if you're interested in having a VersaChalk giveaway, then I will at some point bring up the courage to wipe this one down, and we'll do another tutorial with a giveaway on top. So I'm casually going to add the word "an" in, you know, like it was always meant to be there. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Have a great one, and I will see you soon.